Okay, today, March 16th, class number 494. It is attraction by faith, patience, and grace. Again, the title is Attraction by Faith, Patience, and Grace.
Still muted.
March 16th, Attraction by Faith, Patience, and Grace. Class number 494. I want to talk about some practical demonstrations. I want to talk about practical demonstrations. I keep being muted. I want to talk about practical demonstrations, which I call expectation. And the first thing that I expect, since focusing a lot of my attention on ask and it is given since we started this about a week ago, an expectation is I expect the principle to always work. In fact, I expect that the principle has already worked. There is no such thing as waiting for God to work. That which is to be has already been. That which has been is now. So there is nothing that is not already worked. There is always, as Esther Hicks says, there's always this stream of well-being that is flowing. And we talked about that last week. It's just like if you live in D.C. or Baltimore. I'm using that because that's where we basically all live in these areas. Down here, the Potomac River is always flowing. It's never stopping. It's always there, whether you deal with it or not. You can go out boat riding on it. You can get in it in some places, and you can fish, whatever. Same thing as in Baltimore, the harbor. It's always flowing. You cannot stop the water from coming. Well, you can't stop God from flowing because God is always flowing. Electricity is always flowing. Whether there are houses to use it, whether there are cars and batteries, I don't care. It's always flowing. We typically act like something is not flowing when there seems to be an apparent challenge in our lives or our life experience. Life really has no challenge. Life experiences will produce challenges based on, and we got to, at some particular point, commit to this. Based on how you feel, you will bring challenging appearances into your life experience. But the challenging experience, as we have learned through all of the spiritual teachers, the Goldsmiths, the Lillian DeWaters, the Lanyons, we have learned that they are not reality. The only thing that is reality is you. And the only reason you are the reality is because the Word becomes flesh. The Word is one because the Word is God. So you cannot not experience. You cannot. You can consciously not experience, but you will always be experiencing the well-being of God, whether you consciously experience it or not. Whether you can go out and explain to somebody or not. The point is, it's always there. It can't not be there. It's an impossibility. With God, all things are possible. So, I want to start talking about some practical demonstrations after I've been practicing this all week. And it made me really start focusing on it because earlier in the week, I got a call from Clara. And Clara said, you know what, some of your predictions, or either one of your predictions, she just said it's already started happening. And I said, you know what, I don't even remember what I predicted, but I do know this. I am going to start focusing on what's coming into my experience based on my feeling really good. I'm not going to focus on what's coming into my experience by feeling bad because I ain't going to feel bad. See, once this bad feeling starts coming, I know ain't no good going to come with it. I know that there's nothing that if I have this gory, eerie feeling on the inside of me like something is wrong, I just reject it. And I just say, well, you don't have place here because I don't know of anything that I could experience with you that's going to be gratifying. Now, the contrast, we have to understand there is a contrast. That is what is known as good and evil. So, in other words, you got this contrast so that you can make a decision to say, the evil is not a reality. The evil is not anything that I need. The bad is not anything that I need. It is just a contrast where I can make a decision. It's asking me, do you want me? And I'm saying no. Because who wants to feel bad? Now, there are some people who focus on their personalities, and when things get a little rough or when things are kind of tough, they want to wallow in it. They want to feel it. They want somebody to feel sorry for them. They want to be able to say, I need to tell you my trouble. I need to have these situations how can I say it? I need, you to understand me. I need people to appreciate what I'm going through. Don't nobody want to appreciate the fact that you're going through something that you feel is really bad. Nobody wants to appreciate that. They're just glad that it's not happening to them. So the point is, it's up to you to have dominion over the earth. It's up to you to have dominion over your thoughts. It's up to you to say, this is not a part of God. I don't need this. I don't need anything bad to happen in my life so I can appreciate the good. That's foolishness. I really don't. That's like saying, okay, I need to not bathe until I stink. That's just exactly what that means. I'm going to hang out always. When I stink, I'm finally going to go take a bath. That means I can appreciate the water. That's crazy. The only thing I need to do is to appreciate the fact that there's this stream of well-being that is constantly coming to me. It has been given, and I need to just appreciate that. Now I can give it out to somebody else. That's what I'm doing. When you come to me and you say, I don't feel good, then my job is to ask that you receive grace to feel good about something. I don't care what it is. As long as it's not, you're going to feel good because of somebody else's demise. Well, now you're just bringing more foolishness into your experience. Okay. Let me just start giving you some practical examples of what has happened in my experience since last Thursday. Now, we had the class last Thursday. On Friday morning, I get this little ding on my phone letting me know that I got a text message. And it was real early, like 6:30 or 7 o'clock. I had gone to bed real late. But I woke up to the thing and I said, okay. I said, I might as well check this because it could be Jamal or it could be Sean. I don't know. Somebody might need something. And I picked it up, and it was my friend Denise. She and Cynthia were the best of buddies. And so I opened it up, and it said, whatever you desire, believe you receive, and you shall have it. Mark 11, verse 24. I said, that's where we are right now. Ask and it is given. And I'm thinking, I can't make this up. I've been feeling ask and it is given, for he who asks receives. And I've been feeling that. I had been reading it all the week prior to. We shared it last Thursday. On Friday morning, I get what Kenneth Hagin used to call the confirming witness of the Holy Spirit, because here's somebody sending me that. So I said, well, yeah, Esther Hicks says that as you think these beautiful, overpowering thoughts that you enjoy and you're feeling them, they go out and they attract other thoughts. See, people get the feeling that the law of attraction means I sit around and think about a car long enough, and then I will attract a car. But that's not what she's headed toward. She's saying, if I think that I have this stream of well-being coming into my life, it's always there, and I'm thinking about the good. I started practicing the promises of God. I just pick up one of these promises like, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Well, that's going to attract another thought like that. And that thought, which is another promise coming from God, is going to provide me with a very strong feeling. And that feeling is going to draw more thought, that's going to draw more feeling. And then what happens is it shows up in my experience as something that I considered necessary, that I didn't have to go to God and say, oh, please give me, lend me, can you spare? Because I know that God is saying, I've already made you to understand. I've led you in the way that you ought to take, and I will follow you with my eyes. Why? Because you are my son, the Christ, in my image and in my likeness. And we should never forget this. My image and likeness in Aramaic, the image and likeness means so that we can communicate. We can commune. That's what image and likeness means. It does not mean God looks like me. Because I'd be real confused looking at all of y'all and everybody else in the world that God looks like all these people. So the idea is so that we can communicate. So after getting that on Friday, then on, let's see, what was it, Saturday night? Yes, Saturday night, I have this dream. And in this dream, I'm reaching down with my arms, and Cynthia is reaching up, and she's grasping my wrist, and I'm grabbing her by her wrist, and I'm pulling her up. Now I pull her up on top of this mountain, kind of a rock, and she's got dirt all on her because she was trying to climb. And so I pull her up, and I stand her up on this rock. I clean her off, and then the dream just goes away. Now, I'm sitting there going, I wonder what is this all about? But I'm reminded of a dream I had earlier where the two of us were going down this road, and this big rock was in the way. And we couldn't get around it, and we couldn't get on top of it. I didn't know what we were going to do. And so I said, wow, man, I don't know how we're going to get around this. And then it went away. That dream was like months ago. But now I see myself up on top of this rock, and I pull her up and get her up on top of the rock. And I said, this rock is faith. So, yes, we're on the rock. All is well. Faith works by love. So now I have this dream where the whole thing is I'm pulling her up now by the arms. I don't want you to forget that. On Sunday, I told my cousin about it. Then on Monday, Jamal and I went over to the studio. And we were sitting there talking and working on stuff. He was working on downloading a whole bunch of technical stuff to the computer. And we started talking about smooth jazz and, what is smooth jazz? And we just going on and on. He had his opinion about what it was or what, I just said, let me check out what they say about smooth jazz. So I pulled up YouTube, and I hit the little research button, the search button at the top, and I put smooth jazz. The first thing that came up as a suggestion, because when you go on YouTube, it'll say suggested for you. This is going to blow your mind. There's a picture of an album cover by a guy named Boney James, and it has a man reaching down with his arms. A woman is reaching up, and she's grasping his wrist, and the man is grasping hers and pulling her up. I said, Lord, I can't make this stuff up. I had this dream on Saturday night, and by Monday, here's a confirming witness. And I'm like, all I'm doing is feeling good about myself. That's all I'm doing. And every time I feel good, something beautiful is coming into my experience. And right now, it's just those little things like that to let you know you're on the right path. Things are happening. It's the right thing. And so I was watching on Sunday night. There's this thing that comes on every Sunday night called The Equalizer. It's ridiculous, but it's entertainment if you can put up with it, with Queen Latifah as the equalizer. So I'm sitting there watching this, and one of her partners was really stumped, and he didn't know what to do in the situation. He was going, I don't know. He said, I've got to come up with with a plan. I don't know what to do and what have you. And then he was sitting there, and he had his eyes closed or something for a minute, and then he bing, and he popped his eyes open, and guess what he said? Ask and you shall receive. I said, I can't make this up, man. I mean, everywhere I go, this is hitting me in the face. Ask and it is given, for he who asks receives. And so I'm sitting there showing, the more I focus my feelings on the good that I think, more thoughts and feelings and images keep coming into my experience. Now, I want to read you something from this girl. Her name is Lynn Grabhorn. And this popped in. It's kind of funny. You know, it's like the more you practice this, the more things around you support what it is, because you are grabbing an aggregate of thoughts which are starting to look like what you really believe. Now, this is why. It was something just told me to pick up this book, but we know something is telling me to pick up the book because of the level of vibration that's happening that I'm focused on. So I pick up this book, and it says, it's high time that we woke up to the fact that we are electromagnetic beings tripping around with this mind-boggling capacity to magnetize into our lives whatever in the world we desire by controlling the feelings that come from our thoughts. But because we exist on this planet in a predominantly, I want you to pay real close attention to this, we exist on this planet in a predominantly low frequency field of energy born of over 6 billion people who are vibrating more feelings of stress and fearfulness than joy. We involuntarily take in those vibrations and react to them. You see, the moment somebody is suggesting something that's bad, and we think about it and have an opinion about it, that's why Jesus said, judge not by appearances, because you start thinking about it, you start generating a feeling. Which means that until we consciously learn to override the pervasive low frequencies in which we exist, we will keep recycling unpleasant outcomes into our lives day after tiresome day. Just like swimming in salt water. If we don't wash the residue off, sooner or later, it's going to make us mighty uncomfortable. There's just no way around it. The way we feel is the way we attract. And more often than not, those feelings come from our thoughts, setting up the instantaneous electromagnetic chain reactions that ultimately cause things to happen, to be created, to be withheld, or to be destroyed, like stuff that you thought was really good, but you start feeling bad about, what if this happens, what if that happens, all of a sudden, it happens. So, once again, our feelings go out from us in electromagnetic waves. Whatever frequency goes out will automatically attract its identical frequency, thus causing things to happen, good or bad, by finding their matching vibration. Happy high vibrations attract happy high vibrational circumstances. Yucky low vibrations attract yucky low vibrational circumstances. In both cases, what comes back causes us to feel just as high or low as what we had been transmitting, because it's an exact vibrational match to what we send out. See, there's no way that you can sit around and feel like yuck and expect to go out and meet marshmallow, lofty clouds, wonderful stuff. How you going to meet all that if what you sitting around in the house going, oh, woe is me? That's what Jesus said, do not judge by the appearances. I don't care how ridiculous it looks. Just refuse to feel bad about it. Don't focus your attention on it. I'm not telling you something that I'm reading. I'm telling you something that I'm experiencing after I have read it and decided to practice it. There's no way in the world I'm going to sit around here and keep attracting foolishness into my life. I just don't. I refuse to. I have dominion. I am the Son of God. So it made me now go back and take a look over all of the, let's call it the contrast. From the time I went into junior high school all the way up through college and all the way out into some of the jobs that I've had. And I wanted to share some of that stuff with you, because to me it helps you to understand from a practical standpoint, not just, as I said, me telling you what's supposed to happen. I'm telling you what is and what I'm experiencing. Okay. Now, I've attracted all kinds of situations in my life experience, but I started paying attention to my feelings in 1979. I can remember the day I started paying attention. So I was riding with this preacher down in Northville, and I had this strong feeling on the inside of me because he had some idea of something that we were going to do, and something just was feeling like, you're not supposed to do this. And I didn't know what it meant. And he asked me once, I said, man, I feel this real hot feeling on my stomach. It's like I feel it all the time. He said, like you just drank something warm like cocoa or coffee. I said, sort of. I said, not quite like that. I said, but it's usually there when something good is about to happen in my life. But I don't really, I can't predict when it's going to come, but I have it all the time. And I didn't realize the significance of it. So let me give you some examples. I'm going to give you the results of some of the bad feelings that I've had over the years and attracted these situations. I went out for basketball for the team when I was in junior high school. But I always felt like I wasn't going to get to play. Y'all know the results of that, don't you? I never got to play. Or he put me in the game. We could be up. We could be on ahead of somebody by 20 points, and he would wait until like a minute for the game. And then he put me in. And I just, I felt like, wow, man, I never get a chance to play. And, of course, there was a real reason for playing basketball. It was easy to get a girlfriend if you were on a basketball team. But if you wasn't on a basketball team, you were just regular, like everybody else. So now what you call yourself doing is, okay, so how else am I going to get attention? Now, you see where that takes you? How am I going to get attention now? Well, I play the piano. Well, at that time, people weren't really interested in a young boy, 10, 11 years old, playing the piano. They wanted somebody that was 15 and 16 years old playing the piano and singing. So, again, there you are. Now, let's see, what do I have next on here? I get to high school. I have no way home in the evening, and we're 16 miles from where I live. So that means you're going to have to hitchhike home. And I'm afraid I'm not going to make the basketball team. And my buddy said, man, he's not going to do you like that. I said, yes, he is, man. I said, I'm not going to make it. I said, watch me. I said, watch him get me. I'm going to get cut. What y'all think happened? I got cut. That feeling was so strong on me, I was going to get cut. Now, the next year, I had to transfer. So I transferred to a different school long before basketball season started. And I got on the basketball team, and I had made the team. I remember, man, I went up one day, man. I had seen this guy on TV dunking the basketball. I said, man, I wish I could do that. And I started feeling like, wow, if I could dunk. And one day, I came down the middle, and I went up in the air, and I dunked the basketball, and the guys on the team looked and said, wow, man, wow, Orr, you can dunk. Orr is basking in his glory. What do you think the next thing that happened was? I have to get called to the principal's office, and I have to get told by the coach that I'm being cut off the basketball team because I transferred. And because I transferred, and you have to be at the school a year before you can participate in sports. I'm like, and the guy said, man, you have made the team. I had plans on you playing. Watch this. At the end of the year, they come back and say, we made a mistake. You didn't have to be here a whole year. All you needed to be here was one semester. And you could have played. That's like that little commercial on TV where the little girl said, I didn't make the band, or whatever it was she was trying to make. Y'all seen that commercial? I didn't make such and such a thing. And TV dad goes, well, what do I say? Change your insurance over to Progressive and you'll save, da-da-da-da-da-da. And they said at the same time. He said, do you feel better now? She said, no. Why? Because that feeling I had in the 11th grade trickled right on over into that. I never got rid of that feeling that I was not going to that I was going to get cut. Now, all of a sudden, I'm on the team, and what happens? I get cut because that feeling is still there. I wasn't paying any attention. I didn't know that's what was going on with me. And what does it say in the Bible? Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he's old, he won't depart. Nobody trained me that that's what was going on. Nobody. Okay, so now I get to college, and I'm like, man, I didn't want to go to begin with. I wanted to be a star, Nat King Cole or something. I didn't want to go out here and Sam Cooke. Go to college. Well, all your buddies going, okay, I go there and make a mess of my life for years. The only thing I told somebody, the only thing good I brought out of West Virginia State College was Cynthia. The rest of that, they could have kept all that other stuff. What good did majoring in political science do for me? Am I going to be president of the United States? Am I going to be a senator? Political science? I don't care about no political science. But then one day I woke up and I said, man, you know what? You got a wife. You want to have some kids. You want to come out of here and have a good life and an experience. So what you going to do? And I started feeling pretty good about it. I wasn't paying any attention. It was like, I can do this. That's how it starts. I can do this. And I started feeling confident. The last 3 semesters that I was at West Virginia State College, I had 5 classes for 2 semesters and 2 in the summer. And I had a 3.6 average, meaning I had 3 A's and 2 B's. And that was it. And the lady, they were up in the, how these HBCUs are. Everybody knows everybody. Michael Orr got a 3.6. It started floating all over campus. He's talking about this dude was doing nothing for years. And all of a sudden, somebody must have been giving him some grades. And somebody was actually going to challenge that. And it was like, no, he was in my class and he got an A. He did it. He did what he was supposed to do. I graduated and got out of there. And that feeling of success stayed with me. And I was looking for a job when I got to Michigan. And it just dropped in my lap. Then I wanted to leave that job and go to Ford Motor Company. And guys were like, well, this is how you go to Ford. I told y'all this before. This is how you, and we go over to a friend's house, and we're playing Bid Whist. And the next thing you know, Michael Orr is in Ford Motor Company because the guy whose house he was playing cards at was the minority recruiting officer. It was a done deal. I'm still not paying attention to the fact that my feelings are creating my experiences. I'm not paying any attention to that. And then it never haunts me again until I decided I wanted to go into the music business. And then it was like, well, you need to know somebody. You got to connect with this. You got to connect with that. You got to have this. And I was like, I don't know anybody. Here comes that feeling. I don't know anybody. I don't know how to do this. Well, I'll put my own record out. Then they won't play it. They got something called payola. How you going to get your record played? How you going to get it sold? And here I am. Cynthia's working. I quit my job. I'm going full-time in this music business. I'm out here. I've ordered albums. And I got companies, record shops and independent record shops, distributors in inner city shops buying 50 albums at a time from me in a box every week, and the record companies won't deal with me at all. I'm going, what is going on? I had no idea. I didn't know. And then I had one radio station that was playing my record. I had another one here in D.C., WHUR, and I had one in Detroit, WJZZ. The rest of them wouldn't play. I had no idea what was going on. Then I come to find out, well, it's payola, and you're not part of the system, and this is not happening, and that's not happening. That wasn't it. You know what was it? I was feeling they would not play my music. I was feeling that I did not have a shot. And so all of that stuff was falling by the wayside. But in the meantime, I got a combination of good feelings and bad feelings. Now, I'm saying that because I need you guys to understand you got good and bad. But the good and the bad are the feelings. And they got nothing to do with the appearances out here in the world. It's the feelings that you're carrying. See, I'm carrying all these good feelings, and I'm getting, promoted. My marriage was wonderful. We had these vacations. The children went to private Christian schools. I had friendly relationships, everything that was necessary for this wonderful lifestyle that we had, that was all in place. But the stuff I wanted to achieve. Now, that's the thing where we'll talk about that in the future. But, I want to achieve this, and I don't want to achieve nothing. The only thing I'm looking for is to stay at one with God, to continue to receive that stream of wellness that's flowing in my life. That's it. Because it says very clearly, take no thought for your life, what you should eat, what you should drink, and wherewithal you should be clothed. Why? It is your Father's good pleasure to give you that, because he knows that you have need of these things. So if God knows that he's got you out here in this zoot suit that he calls a human being, and he's saying to you, I got this taken care of. But all you need to do is continue to focus your attention on the fact that you feel right about the relationship of conscious union with God. That's the feeling that you're carrying. I feel good about this. I'm one with the Father. It is the Father within who doeth the works. In and of myself, I can't do this. So now, what about the music? Well, it's God. God decided that he would put the music in me. God decided he would do ministry through me. God said he would do all this stuff. Well, so what's my part in all of it? Like a window pane, that the light to shine through. See, God is all of it. I know when Jesus said, this haunts me every day, and I feel great about it. When Jesus hung back for 4 days when Lazarus had died, and when he got there, and Lazarus' sister said, had you come out, my brother wouldn't have died. And Jesus said, Well, where is he? Well, they have him in the cave right there. Well, he'll live. Yeah, I know he'll be resurrected. In the end, Jesus goes, I am the resurrection. So then they get real quiet. And then Jesus, this is the most astonishing part about that whole scenario. Jesus says, Father, I know you always hear me. What? Does anybody on this call right now recall Jesus asking God to do anything on Lazarus' behalf? No. He did not ask God to heal Lazarus. He did not ask God to do anything for Lazarus. What he said was, I know you always hear me. What did he mean by that? God, you hear how I'm thinking. You see, I'm thinking that I'm one with you. I'm thinking that this principle, ask and it is given. So the way I'm feeling is what? Asking. I am feeling, God, that you already all-knowing. You already know what's necessary in this particular situation. You know what's needed right now. And so, therefore, I know you hear me. So I ain't going to ask you to do nothing. And all of a sudden, he's inspired to say what? Lazarus, come forth. That happened to me yesterday. Y'all may not believe it, but I do. I was jogging around the park. Man, the wind was blowing so hard. I was like, man, I don't even feel. And I got ready to say, I don't feel like finishing this jogging. Because it was cold and the wind was blowing real hard. And as I started going around, and I stopped, and I said, wait a minute. When I asked that rain to chill, it did. So I looked up at the wind, and the first thing I thought was, Father, I know you always hear me. I said, well, Jesus said, Lazarus, come forth, and Lazarus came out that tomb. I said to the wind, calm down. I told the wind, calm down. I started jogging around the pond. I'm starting to feel like this good. Thoughts are coming to my head, and I'm sitting. I look up, and I'm almost at the end of going around the pond. I'm on the second bridge, and I looked up, and I thought, I was, wow. It's almost like I went into what they call it, a time warp or whatever. It's like I totally forgot that I was jogging for a while. And I looked up, and I'm coming on the bridge, the second bridge, and a little thought said, what happened to the wind? And my thought was, it calmed down. And I came on up. But before that, now wait a minute, this is truly something else. I didn't want to ask the church to park on their lot because I've mapped out a way that makes it comfortable, and I know when it's hard, I know when it's easy. And I know when it's hard, and I know when it's easy. So I need to get one of those parking spaces that are over there, cat-a-corner to the county building, which is on the way up the hill to the bank. So I'm driving down, and all of the spaces are taken. I said, man, what is it about Wednesday that everybody is on a parking space down here? But then I kept thinking, I said, well, wait a minute. You know, Lord, I know you always hear me, and I always have a parking space. There's always a meter, and I don't have to put any money in it. It's always sitting there waiting on me. So I go down, and I see one. I see the green flashing, and I'm on the right side going up, and it's on the left side coming back down. Before I can get back to it, this little man rolls up right quick and pulls into that space. I went, oh, man. So I said, he took my space. And it was like, you know, if I tell you that was your space, you just said you have a space. So I said, well, I could always go up here to the church. Like, I don't want to go up to the church because that's a different kind of a run. I want to park over there where I normally park. So I come up, I go back around. I go up to the top of the hill by the bank, and I turn around. When I come back, I'm like, wait a minute. What? And there's this big Prince George's County bus. And he's sitting up there parked on the parking meter. And I got out my truck, and I walked down to the parking meter where he was parked, and I looked on it, and it had 3 hours and 45 minutes worth of time on it. So I walked up to the bus, as only Michael Orr would do, and I just kind of took my finger and I pointed at the door. He opened up the door and said, yes, what can I do for you, sir? I said, how long are you going to be here? He said, not that long. Why? I said, well, you on a parking meter. And he said, oh, wow, yeah, okay, cool, that's right. He said, I'll move for you. I wanted to say, I know it, but I didn't say that. I said, thank you. Thank you very much. And he said, no, man, you need a meter, and I'm cool. I saw another car coming. I said, this dude ain't. I said, this is in my space. He ain't taking my spot. And so I waited, and the bus pulled off, and I pulled up into the space. I parked. I got out. And as I was jogging around, I said, ask and it is given. He who asks receives. My job is to allow. How do I allow? I allow through my feelings. Everything I think about, these 3 steps, I generate a strong, good feeling. And I've noticed also this loathing feeling also comes into play. If I reject the loathing feeling, because sometimes it comes, and it has no reason. I'm like, I don't have any reason to feel like this. What is it? And I just tell it to go because it's not necessary. It's not going to help me. And so I'm sitting there and I go, I direct my good feeling. I don't focus on that bad feeling. See how long you sit there thinking about, why do I feel bad like this? What is this? You're just adding fuel to that fire. But the moment you say, I don't have any need for this, it's not going to be constructive. Where are we going with this? So I force myself to think about situations that appear to be complete. I force myself to know that the thing that I desire, you ready for this, is an idea. And what idea do you know is not complete? The thing I desire is an idea. The idea I desire is, I just want to believe that asking it is given. I want to believe that as I feel good about this, I am asking. What am I asking for? Now, I know all y'all got this answer. I want some more of it. I want it, and I want some more of it, and I want as much of it as I can get. You see, because as I am feeling the good from the thought, I am feeling that more thoughts are coming that are in line with that. And guess what happens to thoughts, y'all? They become things. It's automatic. You don't have to sit out here and carve a thought into a thing. It's going. The word becomes flesh. There's an opportunity for me and Jamal to go to Detroit and be a part of this Sony Music publishing thing or what have you. Now, remember now, Michael Orr sat here and he has decided that his music become what it already is. It's successful, but now Mike wants to experience that because the idea of success is success. It is complete. But there's this lady, and her sister wrote all these songs for Motown. One of the most famous ones she wrote was My Cherie Amour. And it was by Stevie Wonder. So what they wanted was to have a big talent show. They had 500 people submit songs of them redoing Motown classic songs written by Sylvia Moore. Now, this lady's agenda is she wants Sylvia's publishing company to start moving about, turning over, bringing in some profits. She wanted me and Jamal to redo one of Sylvia's songs. We didn't have enough time when we found out about it, so we didn't get it done. Then we were committed to stay in touch. This was last year at this time when she was talking to us about, it's been almost a whole year. Well, then she said, I don't hear from this woman no more until last week. And she's like, we want you to come. We have Cuba Gooding. Omar Gooding is going to be the host. And we got 11 people who are going to come up, and they're going to feature, they're the 11 winners from all around the country and internationally. And they're going to perform on April the 20th of this year. And now, what, you ready for this? On March 15th, you have until March 15th to book a room in the hotel in Detroit, and it's for $189 a night. Well, that's a perfect rate. That's a beautiful rate. But, lady, I haven't heard from you in over a year. And now you coming up, you telling me, like on the 7th or the 8th of March, I've got 7 days to book a hotel room for myself, and Jamal booked one. We got your airline tickets and all this kind of stuff. And we got, I'm telling Jamal, man, I ain't going, man. I don't feel it. And Jamal said, well, Dad, why did you have me sit up and go on a meeting with this lady, and we talked it through and all about how this, that, and the other. Why did you have me do all that if you were going to come back with it, you don't want to do it? And I went away, and I was mad. Then I thought about it, and I said, wait a minute. I obviously have drawn this thing to me. So I better start feeling good about it. Now, am I going to get a hotel room by the 15th, which was yesterday? No, I'm not going to do that because it seems like now I'm trying to force something. But I'm just going to feel good about the fact that on April the 20th, they're going to have this big meeting, and she really wants us to be involved with this, that, and that. So I feel good about it. Now, I've just taken control over whether I'm going to Detroit, whether we're going to do this or not. I've taken control over that by feeling like I don't have to force my way into this. And it's by the grace of God. You see, the first part, remember the 3 steps? 1, you ask. 2, that's God's hand. It is given. 3, you allow. How do I allow? By feeling. By feeling that if I'm supposed to be there, I'll be there. I feel good. I don't have to sit down and be, God, please give me the money to help me go do this. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that at all. You see, I know that all of this stuff is popping up in my life that these good feelings have brought about. Last Friday morning, I woke up, and what was rolling on my head was, anybody remember that song, Happy Feelings by Frankie Beverly? Here I am, happy feelings in the air. I'm going, I wish you happy feelings. And it hit me, oh, wow. So I posted it on Facebook. I'm wishing everybody happy feelings. You see, give and it will be given. That was the thought that came to me was give. It'll be given unto you, good measure. Pressed down, shaking together, and running over. Will men give unto your book? I'm saying, oh, wow. I'm giving everybody happy feelings, happy Friday. I got a friend out in California. His name is Michael Kernan. We ended up talking 2 hours after I posted that about happy feelings, and it was like, yeah. So all I got to do is feel good. It's going to draw more stuff for me to feel good about. It's the law of attraction. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. On Saturday morning, I had been dreaming all night. Other than that, pulling Cynthia up on top of that rock, I dreamed about a song that I wrote in 2001. And it was called Open Our Eyes to Love. And when I've been dreaming that dream, it was like when you come to the end of that sleep, you get that REM sleep where you sleep real good. And then you come into the end of it. And as I'm coming to the end of that sleep, I hear this little voice. It's like you're in that space where you're not quite asleep, but you're not quite awake. You've been dreaming this thing about open. You can hear you singing it. You can hear the song. And you hear something say, this song is number 1 in the world. And I wrote that song in 2001 when the planes flew into the Twin Towers in New York. And the song is, it says, I believe there is peace for you and me. Crazy times, I believe freedom rings. Hear the noises in our minds if we can dream. If we believe liberty for all mankind, we can change these times. I believe if we forgive, we will be the world's salvation. Open our eyes to love. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow. Well, yeah, the song is number one in the world because God is saying, open your eyes to love. You say, well, it's given. And you allow, because God's grace brings you into that particular principle. And I'm saying, well, yeah, on Valentine's Day, remember it was in January, you said you woke up and it was like, you need to put that song out again for Valentine's Day. You didn't even have a real record. And Jerry and some of the radio stations that are independent played a song that you did live with Lisa singing it in a church. It wasn't even a record, and they put it on the radio and put it in their regular rotation. Now here you dream, this song is number one in the world. And then you say to yourself, wow, man, what's going on here? You have need of patience. For after you have done the will of God, you shall receive the promise. Romans 5. Therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with God, knowing that the child of our faith works what? Patience. Then the next thought that pops on my head is love is patience. God is love. Then it dawns on me, I ain't doing nothing but all I'm doing is meditating. And I'm feeling good about the thoughts that are popping in my head. And as I feel good about that, it's just such a wonderful feeling that there's nothing else for me to do except feel good about what I'm thinking. And those thoughts are coming. But the thoughts that come to me are always something from Scripture. And this Scripture, I think about it, and I generate a feeling. And this feeling draws more thoughts. But like I said, what happens to thoughts? They become things. They become little images, little pictures, little nudgings, little things that say, I've made you to understand. I've led you in the way that you ought to take. I will counsel you with my eye. And speaking of that, I'm going to close like this. Everybody on here has used some kind of form of GPS, I think. And so they call GPS what? The eye in the sky. You get in your car, and I use it on my phone. It directs me to where I'm going, keeps me out of big traffic jams and all this kind of stuff. But guess what you got? You got the grace of God, which is the GPS system, which is saying, I'm your eye in the sky. Remember, it says, I will follow you with my eye. I will instruct you. I will direct you. Listen, as I point you in the right direction. As I've already gone down. I've gone before you to make the crooked places straight. He will perform that which is appointed unto me. Isn't that amazing? Oh, let's see. What's the other one? Before they call, I have answered. Now, you tell me you're thinking like that, it's not going to make you feel good. Of course it is. And it's going to keep drawing more of that kind of thought. It'll crowd your head up with it so much until you won't have time to try to think about how to get your stuff to work. This is what I call attracting by grace. For thy grace is sufficient. It has come to you to know that which I'm seeking, I already am. And what am I seeking? The kingdom of God. And what is the kingdom of God? Righteousness, peace, and joy in the Holy Spirit. And what is that? The Word. I am always seeking the Word. And when the Word comes, it is fullness of joy because I am in the presence of God by grace. Amen. And so it is.